Welcome to Truthful Mind. In today's video, we're going to talk about something that almost everyone misunderstands, something that has ended relationships, destroyed friendships, and caused people years of unnecessary confusion. Silence. When someone stops talking, most people assume one thing: they don't care. They've moved on. They forgot you. But psychology tells a very different story. Because silence is not always disinterest. Silence is not always rejection. And silence is definitely not always ignorance. In many cases, silence is psychological protection. And once you understand what silence really means, you will never interpret people's absence the same way again. Stay until the end of this video, because what you're about to learn will completely change how you see quiet people, emotionally distant people, and even your own silence. Let's uncover the truth. Silence makes people uncomfortable. Think about it. When a conversation goes quiet, what happens? Someone rushes to fill the gap. Someone laughs nervously. Someone reaches for their phone. Silence forces the mind to confront something it would rather avoid: internal reality. Psychologically, silence removes distraction. And without distraction, emotions rise. That's why many people assume silence is negative, because it triggers uncertainty, and the human brain hates uncertainty more than bad news. Studies in psychology show that the brain treats uncertainty as a threat. When you don't know what someone is thinking, your mind fills in the blanks, often with fear-based assumptions. He doesn't care. She found someone else. They never valued me. But here's the truth most people never consider: backhand index pointing right. Silence often has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with self-preservation. In psychology, defense mechanisms exist to protect the mind from emotional overload. Some people defend themselves with anger. Some with humor. Some with detachment. And some with silence. Silence is one of the most powerful self-protective behaviors the human mind can use. Why? Because speaking requires vulnerability. When you talk, you expose your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, your weaknesses. For someone who has been hurt, misunderstood, dismissed, or emotionally overwhelmed, silence feels safer than expression. Silence says, "I won't give you access to my inner world if it might hurt me again." This is not coldness. This is not indifference. This is protection. One of the most confusing experiences is this: someone once talked to you every day. They cared. They opened up. Then suddenly, silence. No explanation. No closure. Psychologically, this usually happens for three reasons. 1. Emotional saturation. When emotions become too intense, the nervous system goes into overload. Instead of processing the pain, the mind pulls the emergency brake. Silence becomes the reset button. 2. Fear of losing control. Some people don't trust themselves emotionally. They fear saying too much, revealing too much, caring too deeply, so they choose silence, not because they feel nothing, but because they feel too much. 3. Self-respect awakening. This one is hard to hear, but powerful. Sometimes silence happens when someone realizes, "I'm giving more than I'm receiving." Instead of begging, explaining, or chasing, they withdraw. Not out of bitterness, but out of dignity. This distinction changes everything. Ignoring is meant to punish. Withdrawing is meant to heal. Ignoring says, "I want you to feel small." Withdrawing says, "I need space to survive emotionally." Psychologically mature people withdraw. Emotionally reactive people ignore. Silence used as protection is quiet, consistent, and non-dramatic. There are no insults. No manipulation. No mixed signals. Just absence. And absence, when chosen consciously, is not cruelty, it is clarity. Here's a truth most people aren't ready for: if someone truly didn't care, they wouldn't need silence. Indifference doesn't require effort. Silence does. Silence takes restraint. Silence takes emotional control. Silence takes discipline. People don't go quiet because they feel nothing. They go quiet because they feel something they don't know how to handle. Psychologically speaking, silence often indicates unresolved emotional attachment. And unresolved emotions are far more powerful than resolved ones. Let's step inside the mind of someone who chose silence. They're not relaxed. They're not careless. Their mind is loud. They replay conversations. They rewrite scenarios. They imagine what they could have said. Silence on the outside often means chaos on the inside. But instead of projecting that chaos outward, they contain it. Why? Because they learned, often painfully, that expressing emotions doesn't always lead to understanding. So silence becomes the safest language they know. Emotionally intelligent people understand something crucial: not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every feeling needs to be explained. Not every relationship deserves unlimited access. Silence, when used wisely, creates boundaries. It protects mental health, emotional energy, self-respect. In psychology, boundaries are not walls, they are filters. Silence is one of the strongest filters there is. When someone goes silent, many people respond by pushing harder. More messages. More questions. More emotional pressure. But psychologically, this has the opposite effect. Pressure increases withdrawal. Why? Because the silent person already feels overwhelmed. Adding urgency doesn't create safety, it destroys it. True reconnection only happens when silence is respected, not chased. Silence is rarely permanent. It's transitional. It's the space between who someone was and who they are becoming. Many people go silent before making major life decisions. Leaving a relationship. Changing priorities. Rebuilding identity. Silence allows the mind to reorganize. And transformation requires quiet. Silence doesn't just reveal the other person, it reveals you. Ask yourself, why does this silence bother me? What am I afraid of losing? What validation am I seeking? Psychologically, silence triggers attachment wounds. And those wounds are invitations, not punishments. They show you where healing is needed. Here it is. Silence is not absence of feeling. It is management of feeling. It's the difference between emotional chaos and emotional control. People who choose silence are often choosing growth, even when it looks like distance. If someone in your life has gone silent, don't rush to label them cold. Don't assume they forgot you. Don't turn their quiet into your insecurity. Sometimes silence is someone saying, I need to protect what's left of me. And sometimes, the bravest thing a person can do is stop talking and start listening to themselves. This has been Truthful Mind. If this video made you think differently about silence, if it helped you understand someone, or yourself, more deeply, then you already know what to do. Until next time, stay aware, stay curious, and keep uncovering the truth.